We all have one thing in common, that we love to do the thing that we love. And photography is something that I really love. Hello friend, this is Amar Banerjee and today I am going to teach you how to use manual mode in your DSLR. I remember that day when I bought my first DSLR. That salesperson demonstrated me this DSLR how to use. It's very simple and very easy. So you just have to take out your battery. So this is how you can put your battery. This is how you can put your card here. And after that you can just turn on the button and you can start clicking. And make sure you have to keep your dialer in auto mode or A+ mode. Right? So this is how we can click. And if we do this in auto mode, it will give you a good picture, right? So I just tried to clicking some picture after getting my first camera. So it's giving me quite good picture. But one thing caught my attention when I look into this picture. This one, and this one. Wait a minute, last one is mine. So I was curious how to get this kind of picture in auto mode. So I searched on the net how to take this kind of picture in auto mode, but that is not possible. So if you really want to learn the photography, first of all you have to forget the auto mode and use to try the manual mode. This is how you have to use your dialer and put it into the aim or manual mode. Now when it's come to this manual mode, so I found that this is how we can do the manual mode. But after doing the manual mode, after clicking some picture, sometimes it's giving me very bright picture, very bright, means overexposed in technical term. And sometimes it's giving me underexposed. Underexposed means where we have very dark picture. I'm not getting proper exposure. So that was a challenge for me. How to expose the proper picture in different lighting condition, where we have daytime, where we have lot of light or bright light. At that time I'm getting overexposed picture, and in dark, where we have very small light or where we have very light, where we do not have that bright light, there we are getting dark picture. So what to do? So that is how I learned how to use the thing in manual mode. So to get a proper exposed photograph, you have to keep in mind these three things. One is shutter speed, another is aperture, and third one is your ISO. Sometimes it's known as exposure triangle. So these are the three factors through which one picture get a proper exposure. Proper exposure means it's not too bright, it's not too dark. You can see everything in detail for your highlights as well as your shadow. So that is called proper exposure. And we have a very beautiful thing. If you see in your viewfinder, even in your display, main display, you'll find a very beautiful thing. This reading meter, even you can see it in your viewfinder. This is called exposure meter. You can see sometime it will take you below zero, something minus 2 point something, minus 3 point something. It means you are underexposed. Sometimes you are getting, when you are in highlight condition, you'll be getting like +1, +2, +3. That is overexposed. So you have to keep in mind, you have to use this scale and make sure your exposure meter is on the zero. It means your picture is properly exposed. Now you can capture the picture. So how we can make this exposure meter to zero? For this we have these three factors, that ISO, shutter speed and aperture. So I come one by one. What do you mean by shutter speed? So shutter speed, just like our eyelid. This camera is just a copy of our eye, where we have also a lens. So this light passes through the lens, and we have a sensor inside the body of the camera which capture that light and create or produce a picture, right? So if you have high shutter speed inside my camera, so light will enter less. So when you click a picture with high shutter speed like 1 by 400 or 1 by 200 or 1 by 160, so this is the 160, 1 by 160 of seconds. So you can understand how much speed that we have for this shutter speed, right? So it will take that much of time to light to enter in your lens and your camera body and create that picture inside your sensor. If you have high shutter speed, so you can freeze the moment. For example, your fan is running and you're clicking a picture with high shutter speed, let's say 1 by 200 or 1 by 400. So you will get a crisp freeze picture of your fan blade, right? So it means that you are using high shutter speed. Same thing if you are using slow shutter speed. For example, if you are taking a picture of a road with very slow shutter speed, of a running road where we have traffic light, where we have light for the different vehicles, so you will get lines of light like this, right? So this is how we are taking the picture in slow shutter speed. It means that it is capturing the light with some time, with taking some time. For example, it captured the picture taking some 2 seconds or 3 seconds. These are slow shutter speed. Okay, so the light will enter with 3 seconds or 5 seconds or 10 seconds into your camera body. So those are slow shutter speed. So you can see the motion of the light passing through. So for slow shutter speed, you will get the motion of the light passing through. In high shutter speed, you will get the freeze of a running object, anything. Suppose a bowler is bowling, so you can see the ball, you can see the hand, you can see the everything in freezing moment. Suppose you are taking a picture of a horse is running, so you can see the freezing moment of that horse. Okay, so in high shutter speed, you will get the freezing moment. In slow shutter speed, you will get the motion. But in slow shutter speed, it means that it enters more light into the sensor. So you have to adjust other two parameters, ISO and aperture, to get the proper exposure. So when you slow down your shutter speed, it will enter more light into your camera. When you make it high, you will get less light in your camera, but you are getting freezing moment of any running object or moving object. So next thing, we have aperture. What do you mean by that? Aperture is something which is in your lens, not in your camera body. Aperture is something which is in your lens, not in a camera body. There is a thing like a fan's blade, and it's open with this open aperture. So when you are using open aperture, more light are entering through your lens and to your sensor. But in open aperture, you will get less depth of field. So what do you mean by depth of field? Suppose I am focusing in my eye. So if I have very narrow depth of field or shallow depth of field, so my ear get blurred or my background will get more blurred. Okay, so my depth of field is very low. Even if I have a very low depth of field and if I put my hand like this, so if I focus on my eye, so my hand gets blurred. And if I focus in my hand, if I keep my hand ahead, if I focus in my hand, my eyes get blurred, like this picture. Okay, so that is open aperture. So in open aperture, light enters more into my camera body, but I'll get shallow depth of field. Okay, I'll get more blur. So what are the factors in open aperture? So you have to just in Canon, I'm showing you in Canon, the same thing you can find in Nikon as well. So this is how you can set the aperture using this dial. 2, 2.2, 2.8, 3.2, 4. So when you are giving this f value, higher f value, it means that you are choosing more depth of field, high depth of field. So everything will be in focus. And when we are choosing less f value, you are choosing open aperture or less depth of field, some blur effect. So when you focus on the eye, background gets blurred. So this is because of the open aperture. So that is your depth of field. So when you open the aperture, light center more in your sensor, and that's why you will get your background blur. Okay, so this is for open aperture and close aperture, like this. Okay, and next thing in exposure triangle we have ISO or ISO. So what is this ISO? ISO is basically your sensor factor to sense the light. Sensor factor to sense the light. If you increase your ISO, it will sense more light. Even in the dark condition or dark lighting condition, it will sense the more light. Okay, and if you give the lower value like 100, you can change ISO from here, right? This is your shutter speed, this is your aperture, and this is your ISO. So if you give less ISO, it will sense less light. For example, if you are shooting in a bright day condition, so try to keep your ISO as low as possible. Okay, you can increase your shutter speed, you can increase your aperture, but try to use the ISO as low as possible. But when you are shooting into dark condition or less light condition, so you have to keep this ISO high. So if you take it, it has lot of high value. Like in my camera, it has around 40,000 ISO I have. 6D Mark II Canon. So 40,000 is the maximum capacity of the ISO. But if I use this ISO 40,000, obviously it will sense more light. But it will give me some grain on the photograph, like this. Okay? So some grain will be coming in your photo. For high ISO, it will sense more light, but it will give you grain on your picture. So you have to use some moderate ISO. So different camera sensor have different limitation of the ISO. So for my camera, it will give me good picture even in ISO like 1600 or even 2000. I won't get grain, right? But in crop sensor camera, I generally recommend to use or do not take your ISO more than 800. Okay, so keep your ISO as much as you can in poor lighting condition, but make sure that it won't give grains on your picture. So what are the three factors I have? One is the shutter speed, second one is the aperture, and third one is the ISO. This is the combination through which you can take your exposure triangle or exposure meter into appropriate 0 point. Right? So this is how we can expose a proper picture. Okay? Not only that, I have some setting recommendation. For example, if you are using 50 mm lens, so your mm is 50, so try to use just double of your lens. For example, if I am using 50, so make sure you should not take below your shutter speed than 1/100. That is the first. Second, based on the lighting condition, you can keep your aperture based as per your need. For example, you can, if you are taking a portrait, you can choose 2.8. Do not take to 1 point, because these have the lowest aperture or open aperture, it has the lowest point is 1.8. But try to use 2 steps ahead to get the crisp and clear image. 1.8, you can choose it like 2, 2.2 or 2.5 or even 2.8. So 2.8 is good for a portrait photography. So I choose this factor 2.8, and based on that if you are clicking random picture in different lighting conditions, so use auto ISO. So automatically choose your ISO, but make sure you are not using any external light like your flash gun. So if you are using flash gun, then you have to check which ISO will give you the properly exposed picture. For example, it may be 1000, it may be 800, it may be 400. So at that time, don't make it in auto. Okay. So based on that, you can choose either auto ISO, or you can choose, if you are using some external light like flash, so you can choose based on that, which is giving you the properly exposed photo. Thank you, friend. So I'll keep you posting some new videos, how you can take better, how you can take your photography better. Okay, so thank you for today's